If you've just tuned in, welcome. This is my guitar channel where I do lots of cool stuff, hopefully. You think so? Stuff that's designed to help you play guitar and give you something actionable. The important thing is that I give you something that you can actually play and you can use in your soloing. Today's lesson is I'm going to give you a blues run that you can use in your box 1 minor pentatonic pattern. So this is a way of breaking up that minor pentatonic and making it into something useful, something that sounds good, that will cook and sizzle, and you will be able to play it and really enjoy it, and just do some things with your playing, man. That's what it's all about. Right, so the first things first, we have this here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our beloved A minor pentatonic like we did yesterday. We took yesterday's lesson, we took the A minor pentatonic, which is here at the 5th fret. Hopefully if I just move that around, you can see my head nut. There you go. Right, so 5th fret, we have, we've got this blues, this minor pentatonic pattern here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to add a few more bits to that pattern. Now, first things first, I'm going to incorporate a little bit of caged theory in this, just so that you can see, hopefully there'll be some light bulbs going off out there as well. So if I take the first 2 strings there of that pattern that you play in that minor pentatonic, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill that pattern on the A string, which goes 5 and 7. I'm going to fill it in with this note number 6. Now, this is the root note of the A minor pentatonic. This is the minor third, or flat third, if you want to call it that. This is the 4th. And then what happens is this is the 5th at the 7th fret on the A string. So this note, if I think that that's the 5th and I lower it 1, it becomes the flat 5. Yeah, that's the name for that note. That's also known as the blue note. Personally, I get it that it's a blue note. I kind of think the minor third trying to reach for the major third is more bluesy. But this is the blue note. Now, what we do is we are going to transpose that idea. We're going to take that note there on the A string. That tells me that this note on the A string, this correlates with the A-shaped chord. So this is caged. There would be a chord there. I could play an A chord. I could play a minor chord. If you haven't seen the video, it's in there. It's in a playlist there on caged octaves. Look at caged octaves. They are super, super powerful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this note here, this flat 5. I'm going to transfer it up here onto the G string. We'll come back to that in a minute because I want you to be able to visualize this. This is an application of caged octaves. So we've got that there. So if I play the first few notes, we've got this note here. Now the thing about that flat 5 is that it is from outside the key. So if we played a minor and play that flat 5, you'll hear it sounds awful. Listen. If I played a major and I play that flat 5, it sounds awful. If I played a dominant 7th chord, otherwise known as a 7th chord, then play that note, it sounds awful. It's always going to sound awful. So the thing you need to remember about this note here, this flat 5, is don't land on it. If you land on this, your note you will sound out of tune. It will sound like you are landing on a bad note. A way to treat this flat 5 is what most people do is use it as a chromatic filler. So you can see that I'm going 5, 6, 7. If I'm descending, I would go 7, 6, 5. Yeah, so there's that scale, that little pattern again. you go, 5, 6, 7. Now, if I go on to the next part of that minor pentatonic pattern, so look, this is your minor pentatonic. So we've got this one here. So if I put that in there, you can hear that the different flavor that this adding this extra note adds just gives you a little bit more style. And that's the way to think of that flat 5. It gives you a bit more style. Just a little caveat with the flat 5. Personally, I think it's actually a waste to just pass through it like that. It's a bit dull. It's good. It works. It's something you can do with it. But what you want to do is take this note and use it to slide up. Like I said, don't hang about on it, because if you hang about on it, it will sound wrong unless that note is in a chord that you are playing underneath. I could also slide down to it. Yeah, I can slide down to it, or I can bend it. So there's lots of different ways to treat this note. Personally, I like to slide up from the flat 5 to the 5th and then move up. Or gives you that really bluesy sound. You can hammer it. So there's lots of different ways to be able to use this flat 5 here. So this is going into our run. This is one of the ingredients. So what I've done there is I've gone up the E, the A, and the D string. So E, 5th fret to 8th fret, 2 notes. This is 2 notes on that string, 3 notes on this string. Then 2 notes on the D string, 5 and 7. This is my root note again. If you look at the lesson that I did yesterday, that's tuned down like a tone for some reason, and I sound like Barry White. I've given you all the information on that there, but there's your home notes. So I take that, those home notes there, and I can think. You can hear that the scale sounds finished. The way to think of these root notes, and your octaves for that matter, is think of them as bookends. You can have a shelf and you can have whatever books you want in the middle, but the bookends are the same. Right, the next string, we're going to play this 5 and 7. And if you don't know these pentatonic patterns, you check out the video that I did on the 5 pentatonic box patterns as well, and an easy way to learn those. There's a pretty cool way to do that. And so just check that out. I'll put when I get the chance, I'll put the link in the cards above. Right. So here we've got 5, 7 there. And if you remember, what I did is I played that blue note, that flat 5 here. And now if I transfer that over here, this tallies with that G string. So what happens is I get these 2 notes here, and then that flat 5s is here. Right, so here we go. So I've added that extra note there, that flat 5. So you can hear that is there. So I add that to that string. Let me just play what we've got so far. 5, 8, 5, 6, 7, with that flat 5 that chromatically filling in there, that we don't land on. 5, 7, 5, 7, 8. This is a repeat of that note there. Right? Now, a little aside, I'm going to go off on a tangent, which I usually do. This is the A shape. Now, if you think of the way that the acronym KH system is an acronym for the sequence of shapes, the C shape, the A shape, the G shape, the E shape, and the D shape. So here, this flat 5, this is the A shape. The shape that precedes the A in the acronym KH is C. So if I go back and I play a C chord, this note and this note are the same notes, an octave apart. So this is a C-shaped octave, and And then look, moving up to the A-shaped octave. That gives us options. So that's where that flat 5 lives. So we can. Here is 5 to 8 on the B string. You can see I can find that flat 5 here also. I can find it on the 8th fret of the G string. You can hear that's the same note. The difference is the timbre. The thickness of the string defines the character of the sound. So if you listen to that, it's quite round, whereas this is sharper. It's a bit more cutting. Yeah? So that means I could use this as a little sliding note to get into my pentatonic. Look, here's my pentatonic. Yeah? This little grace note just slides in. Right, and then that leaves this 5 and 8. So essentially, we still have our bog standard minor pentatonic that we all know and love in our favorite position to learn stuff in the 5th at the 5th fret there in A minor pentatonic. We get. And the thing is, just by adding that A-shaped octave to that pattern, superimposing that over the top, it means we don't have to learn another scale. This is the beautiful part of this. We don't need to learn another scale. We just take what we know already, because here's the thing. It's always easier to go somewhere new from somewhere you already know. I don't want to drop you in the wilderness with this and just play the pattern. It has to have context and reference to shapes you're already playing. So now what that does is that gives me a nice run all the way up there. But I want to turn this into a proper blues run now. I want to give it put some more style on it. And there's a thing that happens when you play the minor pentatonic. And I want to show you that you can actually substitute notes from one string to another string. Now this, landing on this 8th fret can feel a little bit strange. So what we're going to do is we're going to substitute this note here. This note here, this is a C. Now, if you already know your notes, then you'll know that that's a C. Then that's good. But here's the thing: we can do a piece of maths or math if you're from the US. If you take a note on a thick string and you want to go to the thinner string down, all you do is you subtract 5 from that number there. So that's 8. 8 minus 5 is 3. There. Gives us the same note there. So there's 8 minus 5. That gives us the same note. So this finger and this finger want to work together as what I call a walking pair. This finger and this finger tend to want to work together as well. So it makes sense to utilize this walking pair, the 1st and the 3rd finger here. And, you know, this is why you'll find that most of the stuff that you play comfortably is with the 1st and the 3rd finger. Why not just utilize that? Let's make it something that you're going to use. This can feel slightly unnatural, especially if you have smaller hands. Whereas this might be okay. So here's what we do. Instead of playing that 8th fret on the thick E string there, we're going to shift it down to the 3rd fret of the A string. That's what's going to happen. And to do that, we come down our pattern. There's that chromatic fill in with that flat 5. But instead of going to that 8 there, what I do is I slide down to the 3rd fret. And then what I do is I play the root note in the same position. So look how much more economical that is and ergonomical. can bend this one. Now, if you remember what I said to you yesterday, this note can bend, this note can bend, and this note can bend. So I said 8, 8, and 7 can bend. So look, 8 on the B string, a 7 on the G string. Well, if you imagine that you've got that survival lick and you put that together with this blues run, so this little blues run will take you from the top of the scale ladder. Remember, scales are ladders. So now you could do, look, that's an A note, a little variation on it. That's my root of A. When I move down here through that blue note, I could pull off that to an open string and play an A power chord. So hopefully you get the idea how that works. Now, this lick, this run, is only the beginning. So there's so many different ways that you can phrase with this. If you remember from yesterday's survival lick, what we can do is we can use these to map out our own licks that sound like you, because that's the only person you can be is you. So look at this one. Take them as little chunks and play them as little chunks. Yeah, and then you can go down your scale how you normally would have done. There, look at this. I'm playing that third and fifth, and then what I'm doing is I'm doing this cheeky little hammer on and pull off. So I can come up, practicing these 5 notes here. So you can hear that that's a really, really useful lick. I'll put this PDF with the tab of this lick. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a diagram as well so that you can see the shapes. If this is your first time on my channel, then, you know, I hope you've enjoyed the lesson. So if you've enjoyed the video, please hit the subscribe. But you've got to implement these 2 things that I've given you, the survival lick and the blues lick. If the blues run, if you put those together, you'll have something that sounds absolutely amazing. So until next time, take care, guys. And remember, pick up your guitar. It won't play itself.